Hello, Internet. Welcome to the Relationship Smith Show. You are joining us live. We are ready for you to call in and talk to us about whatever relationship questions or opinions you might have. Our phone number, we can get it in the chat there, is 412 254 4829. We also have a Discord, which we will post in the chat as well. Please feel free to join us there. You could chat with us. Again, you could call the phone number, you can join us in Discord, or you can type right here and the questions will get to us. We had, the show's about relationships of all sorts, be they romantic, familial, friends, work. In fact, we have a guest coming up next week, comedian Jeffrey Asmus. He's touring the U.S. He's been doing it for a long time. He's going to join us here live on Saturday, well, next Saturday, but we're going to have an early broadcast at 1 p.m. So look for us then. And then after next week, we're going to switch to Thursdays at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We've heard people say that, Saturdays are usually a bad time for them. It's going to be a bad time for us too as the weather breaks and summer gets here. And we're going to move it to Thursdays at 9 o'clock. So next week, Jeffrey Asmus, we're going to ask him questions about relationships, how you maintain a relationship when you're on the road so much, the types of rules and agreements you need with your partner, and all the fun stuff about being on the road, along with some of the stuff people don't think about. Constant driving, hotel rooms, they might seem fun and exciting when you use them twice a year, but when you're in them most every weekend of your life, how do you form relationships with friends or keep them? You're always meeting somebody new, and how do you remember them? I have a lot of questions for Jeffrey, so that should be a pretty good show. If you have questions for him, please send them in or plan to give us a call. We'll try to get some calls in, but we're going to be leaning pretty heavy into talking to him. But if you have questions, you definitely want to get them to him. We already have one fan that's reached out with a question. And just in case he watches this to prep, I'm not going to even mention what the question's about. So, how's it going with you guys?
Not bad. Killing it this Saturday. It's the day before Easter, so there's nothing going on.
Nothing at all.
How about you, Josh?
Same. Yeah. No, having
Oh,
a child at Easter is, very boring. And, yeah, who gives a shit, right? Easy going.
Easy going.
yeah.
I never did the Easter egg thing. I don't remember doing the Easter egg hunt thing when I was a kid, other than my church up the road did it a little bit. My family wasn't really big into that, but we always had a big Easter feast, so that was the bigger part of the workload, I guess, for my parents, cooking up a ham.
Yeah.
My mother would put out an incredible spread that could. She would get mad if our friends didn't stop by and have some sort of. She cooked for everybody, and she meant everybody. It was like just a buffet. Walk in, grab something to eat, sit down. Those are pretty good times. Like, we're not a Catholic family, or we were never very religious at all, but like Easter, I think was probably my mom's favorite, just because people got to go in through the house. Plus, spring, and on good Easters when the weather's great, just get to really enjoy that. Hey, we're all here. It's nice out. We can walk in and out of the house and free will. We have freedom. We can take it. Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about the food. I mean, I don't think anybody really believes deep down to their core that there's a big bunny that runs around. And I know the other religious aspect. I just want to mention the bunny. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, for me, like the whole getting an egg thing was just an anxiety attack because you have 1,000 eggs and about 200 kids. And it's just the entire time you're like, you want to get these certain eggs, but you've got to beat these other kids. So just in the back of your head, you're like, gotta be there. And you have 15-minute lead up to this. So it was just an anxiety attack for me. Nothing about that part of the holiday was too fun. So
when you guys were young, I'll start off with what happened with me. We got an Easter basket, and there's the chocolate rabbits, and you were always mad when you got the hollow one because like, oh, it's big, and then you bite into it, and it's like super thin chocolate. There were those eggs that like you could. I know. We would get these little eggs, and if you got them a little bit wet, you could like use them as lipstick to color your lips or other stuff. They were like a chalk.
my God, yes! Wow, you just
Josh
deep.
doesn't know.
You reached right into my brain and pulled out a memory I forgot.
I believe they were a malt of some sort, like malt eggs, and they were always
they were malt. They were
colored.
malt, and they had that white cream.
Yeah. So we had those.
Thank you, Hammer.
and we always had like cash. I think it was usually a $2 bill when we were younger. Some fun little thing. It wasn't
Yes.
like real money, and a toy. Like we got an Easter toy because I guess my brothers before me weren't excited enough about Easter, so they had to Christmas it up a little bit. So I remember three of my Christmas or Easter toys. The first was clay, like the long strands. They were about, I don't know, that long each. You got a rainbow of colors of them, and I liked clay because unlike Play-Doh, it wouldn't turn hard on you. Like you could keep using it. It was a better toy. And then one year I got Mr. Potato Head. It was weird, but like I remember really, really enjoying Mr. Potato Head, even though I probably only made three different faces and got bored with it. I was like, "Hey, this is cool." And then I got a really good toy gun, which says Easter. It's just a
Yeah.
weapon to pretend murdering things with is just the best thing you could give to somebody on a holiday all about fertility and rebirth. So thanks, mom and dad.
Yeah. It's
Did
just
you
like
guys
a
get
lot. I mean,
toys or
nowadays it's just
cash?
a little bit of both. It depends on what we did and which relatives we hung out with that year. Just I remember the food. Food was always like a cornerstone for my family growing up. So it was always just lines of handmade, ravioli manicotti and all that fun stuff. And if I went to my other side of the family's house, it was just like fresh killed turkey from the back farm. So yeah,
Hey,
real
you
fun
remember
stuff, guys. I
you remember
remember
that
jarts was a
chicken we
big
used
part
to
of it as
have that
well.
you
All the
liked?
kids would get together and throw jarts in the air.
Oh, jarts. We didn't
Tasty.
have jarts. The neighbors had jarts, but nobody ever got injured, not once. So I guess, I own
No.
jarts right now. And here's my question. I've done the research and I cannot figure out the answer. What came first, jarts or lawn darts? They're two different products by two different companies. They're almost exactly the same, but they're two different things. I wonder who ripped off who, and I have no idea because I think I have actual jarts and I saw yard darts for sale somewhere, and I'm like, wait a minute, who ripped off who? Because somebody's getting ripped off, and the retelling of the story is the biggest problem.
I actually was part of a. I don't know the history of jarts versus darts or lawn darts. I do know, however, that you're sitting on a gold mine because literally I was part of a underground. Did I tell this story before? I feel like I told this story before.
I don't think
Um,
so.
a black market jarts group, I should say, because you can't sell them on eBay.
No,
Like they're considered a weapon for
you're not
some odd
supposed to sell
reason.
them at
So
all. But I
uh,
got mine at an antique store for $20
nice, yeah,
a couple years ago. It wasn't even
for
long ago.
$20.
I know they had no
Oh
idea
man, that's
because they
amazing. Yeah,
couldn't
they're
look up
worth
the eBay
well over
prices.
$200.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to price this. It's not even on eBay. I guess nobody wants it. $20. But anyway, tell me about your underground.
Oh no, it was just one of those things where I always wanted another set because I couldn't find them, and then I started looking even harder and harder to find them because it was it was a fun game to play as kids. We didn't just throw them in the air and try to catch them with your mouth. We actually went out and played jarts in the yard. I have
Wait,
tons of
there are other ways
cousins.
to play.
Right, exactly. Run and then you throw and try to take them out.
Well, no, you
Um,
throw and then you run. Like everybody looks
uh,
up as you throw it in the air, and you're not allowed to run until it starts coming back down. Those are the
I
rules.
hate.
They're on the box. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's got even pictures of little kids with the short shorts and everybody was wearing like polo shirts back in the day. And
And
yeah,
I can't get
they're
in
all
trouble
just
for saying this, can I? Because like it's illegal
yeah.
to buy them, and if you're a parent that has them and you let your kid, that's your fault, right?
Yeah, the
So
story's pretty tragic. I mean,
yeah, oh yeah,
the
people
one
did
man
get
who
killed.
yeah. Well, one, it was like one main guy from what I
But there
recall.
was a couple.
And
Like
it
they had a
was there?
bunch, like 7 injuries the first year, injuries or deaths, and it grew. And then after a while, like people took notice. It
Yeah.
wasn't just one person who was
Okay.
doing something
It was
outrageously silly.
there was a lawsuit by one specific guy. He threw his
Oh yeah.
jart over the house. And we'll just leave you just use your imagination of what happened next.
I'm laughing because
Uh
I've done it. Also, I knew
yeah,
that was a
of
bad
course.
idea. As a child, I
Right.
knew it was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's somebody in this podcast may or may not, as a kid, once threw a rock over a cliff and found out it destroyed somebody's Cadillac. It's stuff like that happens.
I grew up on the highest point in my county, and we used to roll abandoned tires down the side of one of the hills towards the river. The
Yeah.
dumbest, most reckless
Dumbest,
idiot. Nothing
reckless.
bad ever happened, but we were lucky that it didn't.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. And
Yeah.
everything that you said there, yes, is screaming adult, don't do that. But at the same time, going, oh, I totally would have done that
Oh,
without question. I would have filled the tire with stuff up too, just to kind of get it a little bit of a momentum, you know?
I guarantee you at least one of those tires had some amount of gasoline in it that may or may not have been on fire.
Oh man, we could do this forever. Like all the dumb kid stuff that
However, I don't think it was me that did that tire one. That was a little beyond what I was at that age. I want to blame my one of my brothers. We'll just go with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good stuff. Well, kind of steering back to the show. We had actually a lot of activity last week. Um,
We did great show.
I mean, we just the week before we been working with some other podcasts and streamers, and we had some of their questions and hosted some of them, and then the last show, which I thought was going to be like a quieter show because we had such a banger the week before. We had phone call after phone call, and thoughts on that? Did anybody reach out to you afterwards or?
No, and I mean I've given up really counting on that. Even on Reddit where I'm given, 30 to 70 pieces of advice a week to random people. I
Damn.
rarely hear back. I might hear a thank you, but I never hear the whether my advice was good or not. I rarely hear whether my advice was good or not. I think this week I heard one person who I encouraged her to tell her boyfriend something that, apparently he was talking to her about he has a friend who murdered somebody and was probably not going to have to face the charges for it. It was like a jealous rage thing and whatever. His friend thinks he's not actually going to spend time in prison, and she was upset knowing that her boyfriend was friends with a guy who was a jealous rage machine. And I encouraged her to tell her boyfriend this. I'm like, if you're afraid of telling him how you feel, you have other problems. And if he does flip out on you for you expressing your concerns and your fears, eh, that's okay. You know to leave him. Like, and she said she did message him and he handled it well, and she did communicate and was honest with him. So that is a rare thing. The people who call in the show, I'd love it if they'd call back in and let me know. Especially, there's been some time on our first callers. The lady who had a bad evening and said some horrible things to her boyfriend. And what was the another one of our other early callers? I can't remember. Yeah, I'd love to hear back. If anybody is listening now that has called in before or has had a question read, please call and let me know how things went. And if you need more advice, or if you just want to say, you were right or you're a jerk and you ruined everything. The feedback helps everybody.
Speaking of feedback, have we heard back from anybody whose clips we've played? Anybody like
Yeah,
their
yeah.
appearances?
Ruin Willow is making more for us for
Rune.
she was gonna have some, yeah. She was gonna have some, and I love her voice, you know that. She's going to make some more clips for us. She loves doing it. The people at uh, not Adam Knows Worst. I can't remember the name. You got me on the spot. Mac Knows Worst. I do remember. With Autumn Glue. So
Yeah,
they're going to make
glue.
some. In fact, they're on board to make a custom question for Jeffrey Asmus when he's here next week. That they're going to find a post on Reddit, and she's going to read it for him. And I
Which
believe, what's that?
sorry. No, sorry. I was just gonna interrupt because that's not something. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
What do you mean?
It was totally rude what I was gonna do, but you mentioned last week somebody was taking a break on a podcast. And I just wanted to
Oh no,
recognize
it
who was
was
taking a
Paige.
break.
She's on
Okay,
vacation. She'll be back.
gotcha.
We're gonna play one of her videos this evening. Her last video, she recorded 3 for us before going because she's amazing. And I'm gonna see if she wants to do some more. See if she wants to come back on the show with us. But when people are on vacation, I don't really reach out too much. She did watch our clips and loved my answers so far. So, an actual licensed therapist who deals with a lot of this stuff every day. He gives I don't want to say she gives a thumb up so much as I haven't been yelled at for saying completely the wrong thing. So that's good. So we have those, and I just put we're thinking about nothing solid yet. Perhaps doing since our first show on Thursday is on 420, maybe reach out to people and some podcasters and YouTubers who specialize in weed and marijuana and see if they can tell us about how their uh, life with marijuana has affected relationships. Perhaps they've been dumped, or perhaps they've been with somebody who stole their weed, or it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be once people at work find out you get high, do they treat you different? Or your parents, how did they react if they know, if they didn't actually give you your first joint? I'm interested in how marijuana affects relationships. So that'll be hopefully in 2 weeks if we nail things down. It's not solid, but I would love to find out how that goes for people.
Yeah.
It's it's emerging. It's going to be legalized across the U.S. soon. I'm sure we're now at more than 50% of the states or close. So it's as people get curious about it, and depending on their state's rules and laws, see where we go with it. So I think it's good to get that information out there now instead of later.
Oh, one we almost forgot to mention too. One of the other content creators that we had talked to that had a
Oh,
had
right.
brought up comment on the show was Anastasia Beaverhausen from God damn it,
Redacted the podcast.
Redacted the podcast. Yeah, no, it's they just released another episode, so I got to catch up on that one. That's another one
Nice.
I'm backed up on. So I
Yeah, I'd love it
promise
if
I'm
they.
going to listen.
Yeah, I'd
Hmm?
love it if they could also come up with another question or find another question to read for Jeffrey. Uh,
Yeah,
I love what they're doing with their podcast, just kind of
yeah,
detailing bad first dates.
exactly. Yeah, it's such a unique little thing. I mean, I haven't heard it yet, and when it was mentioned, like I want to listen. She mentioned us coming on there sometime. So yeah, I
As a
think we'll see
threesome
that
or
happen.
one at a time.
I would like if all of us spoke at the same time. I mean, Josh wouldn't count, he would probably say hi, but
A lot
like
of
the
people
rest
don't
of us would
know.
all layer our voices.
A lot of
That would be
people don't
actually
know
kind of
that in
good.
real life, Josh is just like Joe Pesci in what's the the damn movie?
Wait for it.
I'm getting
Wait
too old for
for it.
this shit. What's
Oh man. So yeah,
Lethal
yeah,
Weapon
it's
2? Lethal Weapon 2. Sorry,
oh
you know I won't
god.
let it go. They always fuck you at the drive-thru. That's him all day long.
Hey, Relationship Smith. I'm
Hi
Paige from
Paige.
the Stubborn Love podcast, and I found this fun question on Reddit and was wondering if you had an answer. So, Radish OK 2678 posted the following: I, 25 female, just learned that my fiance, 27 male, made a move on my sister 2 years ago. My fiance and I have been engaged for almost a year and have been dating for 7 years.
Ooh.
We're in the middle of the biggest fight we have ever had, and I'm beginning to just question everything. I was confiding in my sister, who's 4 years younger than me, and her boyfriend today, and she told me that 2 years ago, when she was living with us, that my fiance put his hand on her thigh and was rubbing the back of her neck while they were alone together. The same day she moved out of our house, but she never told me why until today. She had wanted to move out for some time and she moved in with her current boyfriend, so I didn't think much of it. Now we are engaged and 4 months away from getting married. This fight is making me zoom out and reevaluate/question our entire relationship. I'm terrified that I might be marrying the wrong person. At the same time, he has been my best friend for 7 years and always has meant the world to me. But I think I love him more than he loves me, and now I'm worried he might one day cheat. Now I know that he has made a move on my sister in the past. I just want to get an outside perspective on the situation because my mind is all over the place and I can't even fully comprehend this news. Like, what if my sister wanted to do something with him instead of pulling away? Would he have cheated on me with my own sister? Please help me understand what is happening. Okay, let's see how we can help them.
I think the first thing I want to say is he was being creepy. That's not saying he was going to cheat if he had the opportunity. He was just being creepy. We don't know if he'd have went through with it if she wanted to, or uh, you can't make. There's no argument to be had there either way. If you actually think he would have, then you probably just don't want to marry him. At that point, you already have a low enough opinion of him to say, "Ugh, this is creepy. I'm never going to trust you." The fact he was creepy, that's something that you need to get out in the air with him and have him admit to, explain why he was doing what he did. You could try to say, were you going to sleep if she had said yes, what you've done, but you're never going to get, like, he probably doesn't understand. It was a while ago. just get him to say what he did, to admit it, and to get it out there and apologize to your sister and apologize to you and see how he wants to make amends for it. The worry about him cheating on you in the future is legitimate. But even if he had never done this, you had never heard about it, it doesn't change his desire, his ability to cheat on you in the future. He could do that or not, whether or not he ever hit on anybody else in the past 7 years. If you think he's a cheater who is likely or possible to cheat, if you do not trust him, do not marry him. Give him the chance to talk about what happened, why he did it, and apologize and try to make amends and get to the point where you need him to be to go through with the marriage. I'm not telling you to run away. I'm not telling you to stay. I'm saying find out the details and include him in that fact finding. Get the information and then act on that. Don't make any guesses now. Don't run around in your head with a bunch of ifs, ands, or made up scenarios or fantasies or like the because you're going to run straight into a negative area with all of this. So yeah, talk to him and find out. But with the other caveats, if you think he's a cheater, don't marry him. You already don't trust him. It'll never work out. You'll just continue on this cycle. You can't break it without possibly going to a lot of therapy with him, marriage counseling, couples counseling, and find out what happened. You might still need to do that. I'm not saying you just hearing what he says is going to make things better. You might need more, and you might need something more intense. You might have to find a counselor who can see you more than once a week. So find out where you need to be. Ask yourself what you need to trust him, because if you don't trust him, do not go through with the marriage. So that's a really interesting one, though. I can't imagine, what this guy was thinking at that time. I assume he's probably just a creepy individual. I'm alone with my wife's sister a lot, and like you don't do that to family. You don't do that. The only thing that could happen is, say everything could happen, and they did sleep together. He's destroying her family. Like, it's not just about getting laid. He's destroying the relationship between sisters if anything were to happen. And if nothing happens, she's going to tell her sister eventually, and you're destroying your relationship with your sister. So there's no win here. I have no idea what his thought process was, or, you know, I can't imagine anybody doing that who's any level of sane. Go ahead.
Paige is awesome. She also has a pagebond.com where she offers out a jealousy workbook for free as well to anybody who wants it. Just an FYI to anybody out there who needs to deal or knows somebody that needs to deal with jealousy.
Everybody thinks.
Can I just point out again, one of the observations we made, was it last week or the week before? We had a discussion where the observation was, we're getting a lot of people reaching out, asking about, I have a coworker, how should I handle this? Just a lot of coworker based conversations. There's more. It's just, there's more in there today. Like, I'm going through and reaching out, and it's still, yeah.
And
it is.
Well, I mean, we can wait. Say if you have a good one and they don't call in, I say, tab it out and read it before we end the show.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to do next here. It was really funny.
Okay.
I'll just read this one. I mean, it's oh, okay.
You don't
forget to give us the URL in the chat. So
we just copy and paste dummy to all those, or
don't do it, dummy. There's our
thank you.
soundbite.
Yeah.
Don't
so to the audience
dummy.
who's listening right now, what we do is we usually tend to follow up with these, just to see what the general atmosphere is around the conversation. And this guy, Zaz, has been forgetting to bookmark these things. Was doing it like one show and hasn't done it several times.
You did it last
I'm way
week.
too honest.
You were fine last week.
Was I
right? You did.
Anyway, let's get to the call. I don't think anybody.
You were a little tired last week, but you did it. I'm not going to let you beat yourself up. You did a good job.
I am nervous to ask coworker to hang out or even communicate outside of work. I love these. I started a new role as a manager a little over a year ago and started it.
No, sorry. As soon as I hear the manager, I'm like,
no,
that is.
I want to hug you for that. I started a new role as a manager a little over a year ago and started having a slight crush on a coworker who's in a position below me. All right. Should we continue?
Yeah, continue. Let's see how bad this gets. Let's see how unaware they are of what a manager is.
God damn it. Oh, that's
I don't mean, because I'm going to tag this person in this post later on, and I apologize,
yeah.
but you should know this. So let's go ahead.
Yeah. Especially when you're a young manager. I mean, I'm not trying to be ageist or anything
It's
like
not even
that. But
ageist. It's if you've never been a manager for a long period of time.
yeah,
That
exactly.
level of young. It's not
It's
about
just
being 22
I hate to
or 40.
hear these things yeah. Sorry, it's as somebody who may or may not be a manager.
As
They are
somebody who
part
may or
of
may not have been an IT director.
Just-
That would be this guy.
they are still part of leadership, not just a manager, and we work somewhat closely together. Doesn't matter. Similar schedules, work on similar tasks, communicate. This was posted an hour ago. I feel like this is a direct copy of the one we discussed a couple weeks ago. The crush started because they are funny and smart. Then I eventually met them in person. We are mostly remote work and realized they are also extremely beautiful. Nice. I felt
Don't
like
they use
there
like
were
Meet or
some.
Zoom or anything at work? What the hell?
That's a really valid point.
Good.
Anyway, no, that's a really good eye for detail there. I felt that there was some spark between our conversations and get hints that they may feel this. She may feel the same. She mentioned not having a relationship for a while and similar things about wanting one. These could have been blatant hints to wanting to meet up. But I have never been good at picking up on hints. Now we only get to see each other in person once a month, and even then, it's limited conversation due to the nature of our work. She isn't the most social person and seems shy, so chatting during work while the remote doesn't happen very often. She is also by the book, so it's hard to keep conversations that aren't pertaining to work going. But we definitely have things in common. She also doesn't have social media. Awesome. I feel silly just typing this out. Oh man. I feel like I should just ask her if she wants to hang out sometime, but my main concern is she won't want to, and we'll just have. I saw you nodding in my peripheral. I was like,
Try not to interrupt you.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. It just means you and I are just a lock synced into this one. We already know it's the. I just feel bad. It sounds like again just another innocent, but just doesn't. Yeah. Also, the fact that I'm in a position above her makes me concerned that it would put my job at risk if things didn't work out. Even if it worked out, actually. Yeah.
I'm
I
looking at
should
the
mention.
light, not the camera.
Yeah. I mentioned I've been single for a very long time, and it's extremely hard to meet people where I live, especially considering that my main hobbies are quite independent, non-socializing. So finally, feeling the spark with someone doesn't make it easy to sweep things under the rug. Oh, sorry, doesn't make it easy to
I
sweep
know.
under the rug. Yeah. There are some other thoughts and minor things to this, but I'm struggling to put into words without being overly specific. I'm also mostly looking for advice on if I should even open up this can of worms at work to try to dismiss my feelings. If I should, any ideas on how to approach it? Thanks in advance. TLDR, I am crushing on my coworker who's in a position below me and get hints that they feel the same. I'm concerned about, yeah, you know what the TLDR is. It's basically I'm a manager and yeah, please don't do that. Please, for her sake, for your sake, for her sake,
For the company's
for her sake. This is
For
everything.
America.
And again,
Don't do it for America.
it's as innocent as you think this is.
Listen,
Sorry, I'll stop talking.
I know we're taking some of this lightly, and you have real feelings that are involved here. And that's not fair to you. I get that. But you're a manager now. Your whole role at work is nothing but work stuff. You've already described her as not very social and shy, and she's by the book. You use the phrase by the book. You, a manager, want to date somebody below you who likes to go by the book. Do you have any idea how bad this will go for you? You reach out even for, hey, let's do dinner or lunch sometime outside of work. She could go straight to HR with just that much and ruin your career there. If she's by the book and she's not very social, the odds of that go way up. But even if you thought that she would welcome your advance, that she would love to do this, what if the date doesn't go well? What if you two don't connect? And then she goes to HR. But let's throw all this away. You're a manager. You you have certain things that are no longer available on your plate. You cannot date people at work who are on your level or below your level, probably even on your level. It's just a bad idea all around. But when somebody's not on your same ladder, on the same rung of your ladder, it's always a bad idea. Always. 100% of the time. I know you'll find people out there. So we met at work and it was fine. He was my CEO and we met and it was fine. It does happen, but it's more often that you will just end up walking. If you really want her, if you really think this is for you, get a job with another company down the street. And then on your last 2 weeks, say, hey, I'm leaving here, but I'd really like to continue talking to you. Here's my number. Give me a call. Let's do a date sometime. That's it. See if she calls. You can't stay there and date her. If she's leaving, maybe you could ask her on LinkedIn or if she has no social media before she leaves. Say, here's my number. Let's do lunch and then see what happens. But you can't do it. There's no wiggle room. There's no if. I'm sorry, but you're going to hurt yourself. And you got to realize, as somebody, we covered this last week, I don't expect you to watch that. This job might be her, this paycheck that she gets might be the thing keeping her from being homeless. It might be the thing keeping her mother alive in a hospital. You never know what that money means to her and what your approach to her as somebody above her in the company will look like. So just don't do it. She's a beautiful girl. She likes some things. And as for your hobbies, you do things that are very non-social. Find some hobbies that are. Like I get that you like doing things, the things that you do that are solo, but you could go and join a bowling league. You can join a running league, a running group. You can get into photography with a group of photographers who run around the city and take pictures of walls. I have a friend who does that. Anything you want to do, you can do it with a social group for the most part. And if you have hobbies that you can't really do that, join some that do. Get out of your house and meet people. Work is not Tinder.
So, real quick question: are there hobbies that you do that are absolutely solo? I mean, aren't there like Reddit groups for like I don't know, I just paint models, but I mean, yeah, that's a solo venture. But like, there's groups that talk about painting models. I mean, isn't there some way to
You're
I know we're
absolutely
taking this
right.
off the point, but yeah,
Absolutely right.
it's
I
just a
don't
thought.
really know of a hobby where you don't have people to communicate with. Like there's a YouTube community of people who watch a video of I watch the videos of somebody repairing Matchbox cars. uh, there are people that like know him, and there's a group of Matchbox car repair
Wow.
people and communities and message boards about like, hey, how do we get the red line rims for the 19 something or other cars? There's communities for everything. So
There, I
whatever your
mean,
hobbies
yeah,
are,
that's
you can
amazing.
expand into a social world online too.
You always
But
thank you for reminding me that there's that next layer of internet.
oh, I love it. It's fast. It's a zone out thing. You don't have to pay attention. You look up every couple minutes. The car looks a
Yeah,
little better, or he's explaining something about how to mix paint for a paint gun when you're only painting something this size. It's
Jesus,
little skills, but there are communities for everything. And
right.
even if not locally, you can join a charity group that does something for the elderly, or you can get involved in politics. I know I brought that up last week, and I got some. You could use politics to meet people and be social. Like, absolutely, whatever you are into that you enjoy, like work, you could join one of those after work young professional groups. And if your city doesn't have
Oh
one,
yeah,
start one. They're popular. They're
yeah.
great ways to meet other people. They're great ways to maybe get a job somewhere else. You can ask that woman out.
It's actually pretty funny. I'll tell a mini story here because I don't really talk about much of my stuff, but I will just say a friend of mine, he sets those up, and he asked if I wanted to join him, and I said I'll be in the peripheral. I don't want to, because people are legitimately looking for work, and I don't want to step on that and hinder that in any way. Long story short was by the end of the night, a person, she came up to me and she sat down and she was just like, "How are you doing it?" And I was so unaware because everybody was so work focused that she wanted to sit down and have a chat and elaborate on her and and I blew it off, and I didn't intentionally do that. So yeah, those definitely are used as little get-togethers, social get. Take, I know Zaz.
No, that's fair. And you're bringing up the fact that whatever he's into, there's a community for it. So
Yeah.
I don't care how unique you think your hobby is. There's somebody else that will be blown away by finding somebody else who does it too. You're not alone.
Yeah. Hey, Josh. Until I get my camera fixed, let's never do a one shot on me again. It's hilariously. It looks like I'm from like a 1960s car ad. It's hysterical. I
All
hate
right,
you.
cool, got it.
Come on down
So
to
really,
Zaz's used car shop. You can see we're all
I
out
hate
of
this.
cars. So come on
Yep.
down. Sell us what
This-
crap you have.
So
Call.
while we're on the
Michigan 1-778-1493. That's Michigan. I don't know the rest. I forgot the numbers already.
what are you talking about?
The numbers, it's always, remember the really old ones, like they give a phone number that like was, call 718-456-1132. And it's like never a number they picked or spells anything because they're such a small time car dealer.
I mean, even Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
I'm not Googling that. You can't make me.
No. I want to do this like organically. I want this to be you and I. We're gonna touch brain energy right now, and we're gonna focus.
I
on
know
this.
the beginning.
60651. Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60651.
60651.
I
Call
thought it was
Scruff
2.
McGruff. Let's
Yeah.
help
Anyway.
take a bite out of crime.
Boy, this show is bananas.
Aren't dogs biting things like bad? I always wondered that about Scruff. Because it'd show him like biting the logo. Or you see the logo with the bite out of it. I'm like, that's not a good dog.
Police dogs bite, don't they? So I guess
Yeah,
it's
but
the
like, you don't make
intent.
him spokesman for like
Here's my
stopping
nephew
crime.
Scruff, about to run into trouble again.
Hey, Bobo, where's your video game? In here.
We're
going.
gonna get
Keep
tagged
going.
for a DMCA.
Oh, yeah,
because
maybe
of
not.
Scruff McGruff.
Yeah, we oddly enough we break the crime of rebroadcasting a Scruff McGruff commercial.
All right, we got 15 seconds. We're gonna give this a shot. You ready?
All right, let's do this. I'm in.
Right, Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
Hey, we have a caller. Oh, they're probably going to correct you. You ready? You on the air? Hey, you're on the air with the Relationship Smith. How can I help you today? Hello?
All right.
That's the first
So-
hang up we've ever had. I'm going to make this a special. Oh, there we go.
I'm gonna
You're on
continue
the
to look
air.
up.
Hello, am I on the air?
Yeah, this is Relationship Smith. How can I help you?
Hi, yes, I just recently broke up with my girlfriend, and there's just been some things that just boggle me that I wanted to talk about.
Okay. Well, what are some of those things?
And what do you do when you catch your girl or your significant other with the dog?
That's not even a really good one though. You could have led into it or warmed me up a little bit.
I mean, I'm serious. No, we're out of a relationship now, but I don't know how to, I wish I was joking.
Okay. So what would the question be if you caught your girlfriend in the midst of bestiality? What's the conundrum?
Do I get back with her? Do I report her to the authorities? What do I do?
No and yes, and hopefully she gets help after the police. They'll want proof or whatever, but hopefully that encourages her to get help if there is no proof. But yeah, you absolutely wouldn't. Yeah, that was fucking. If you're gonna prank, you gotta. I'm not giving people clues, but it sounded like the same person though, right?
No, it's good. We went from cereal bowl to dogs. So yeah.
Hey, I'm glad that they're
That
still
was-
listening and we're still on somebody's
Absolutely.
radar. You know? That's I yeah. The
Man.
I have nothing actually.
All right, so to go back to now that we went over the Scruff McGruff arc, I was going to talk about the antithesis of our call earlier about the guy I'm interested in, job
Wait.
wise.
Do you think she was with Scruff McGruff?
Holy shit! Did this guy just like he opened up like some kind of like
Damn it.
call him back, Josh? Call him back right now. Call him back. Call him back,
No.
Josh.
Maybe
I'm not
the
even kidding.
60652 was Scruff's body count.
Yikes!
Damn that Scruff McGruff. Always pulling his hair. That's
So
that's a
anyway,
dog joke, by the way.
yeah, it's terrible. All right,
Rough,
so
rough.
let's go through this one just to kind of if I make it back to where you guys are, I'm going to take that soundboard and snap it in half. I'm going to set it on fire. It's not even gonna be like a Viking funeral. Like this is just gonna be just a hateful stomp and set it on fire. It's going to be my hate. Okay, so this is a.
You want me to play another one?
Let me lower the volume of my headset first.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like
It's like
1990
3 minutes, too.
shock jock sounds on your.
I am-
It's
I am a
crazy
shock-
Hank in the morning. All right.
No, if this
So,
was a morning show, you guys would need to laugh at everything. So I was
don't have the
driving to
energy.
work yesterday. You gotta laugh.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god, you're driving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Smitty, the sports guy drives too.
So
All
I'm
right.
gonna circle back around.
Circle
Try
back
one more
around.
lap. Circle back around. We're
I'll
getting
shut up
on to
and
an
let you do
hour.
that.
Yeah, it's how do I ask out a guy I'm interested in my job? This time, it's from a different perspective.
I
Ready
hope
for
it's
this?
her.
It is her.
No, from the previous message. The previous.
Holy
message.
shit. Is this like all about like closing gaps today? First we have the Scruff McGruff cheating bestiality spouse, and now we have oh man. This is like one big anyway. I've been working at my temp receptionist job for about a month now. There's a guy I'm interested in. Like bang, right out of the gate. Okay. This is different. We don't speak much, and I only see him when he comes into the building to get snacks. I just casually say hello and have a good day, but he's extremely friendly. I barely talk to him. I barely talk to him, let alone anyone at my job, because of how excruciatingly shy I am. I usually bury myself into homework or a video to avoid unnecessary social conversations, but I do really like this guy and his vibe. He once came in dressed in sweatpants and a sweatshirt and got sent home to change because of dress code. I thought he was so cute. He told me his name and he asked me mine, and that's probably one of the deepest conversations we've had. I don't know if we should talk more, as he's entering the building or leaving, because he walks pretty slow while going out. What are some things I could say to him that would spark the conversation, maybe get his phone number? And just a note, because none of these because of the workplace harassment training videos, I don't feel comfortable asking him out on a date. That seems pretty frowned upon in the office. So yeah, there's a different.
Well, one thing you need to understand right now is that your workplace has a policy that frowns on this. No matter how you approach it or what happens, you could lose your job over this. You have to be okay with that before you go any further. They might find out that, whatever happens, let's say you go on 4 or 5 dates and you run into somebody you work with, that could get you fired. Even if you're both on board with it and agree with it, like a company that has a policy like that upfront, you're playing with fire. So you have to find out in your own head if it's okay to potentially lose the job for this person. Can you move to another company? Can you get a same job at same pay nearby that won't affect you too much? That's up to you. But the easiest way is to talk to them and say, hey, would you like to grab lunch sometime this weekend? It doesn't have to be a date. It doesn't have to be where you both dress up and you go to an expensive dinner and there's a waiter with a pepper grinder. You can go to Subway for lunch and just talk as people outside of work. It doesn't have to be a big date. Go that route with it. Say, hey, I have there's a new restaurant I'm looking at trying for lunch on Saturday. Are you free? He'll let you know right then. You'll be able to tell by whatever he says if he's interested in you or not. He might give you his number and say yes. He might say Saturday's not good, but still give his number. anything negative, just take it as a negative. Like, hey, you tried. You didn't ask him out on a date. You just asked him if you want to do lunch. Do it on his way out. That's a little less awkward than when you walk in. If he shoots you down, then he walks in like, have a good day. Do it on his way out. And he should know better than to wear sweatpants to work. Come
Maybe they work for a sweatpant company.
on. Work for American Eagle, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
So, Zaz, what do you think on that one? I know I almost went opposite, but there's no manager superior, but in the same thing, I
Yeah.
think if a company has a policy like that, you have to
I mean,
accept you might get fired no matter what.
well, yeah, we don't know what his position is. He could be a board member, and that still falls under what we talked about. Right?
Sure.
Anything that's under a shared service or anything like that. When did I become an HR expert? But that is literally, she would technically be a subordinate. With that said, though, she is a receptionist. She might not even work for the same company. She just might be hired by the building. I don't recall if she mentioned that piece in there. The point I'm trying to say is, if all those things are clear, let's look at this from a different angle, where she said, how should I talk to him? And that's simple. It's just pointing out something dumb. Like, hey, have a good one. Something you're wearing. Like, just dumb joke. I mean,
Have a
that's
great day,
just,
sweatpants.
yeah, exactly. A little, like, just a little jab to show that, she said she did mention she was shy, so I don't think that would be her
Yeah, she won't
type
do
of,
that.
yeah, but that would be great though. Just call him sweatpants. What up, sweatpants? I would
That'd
definitely
work on me.
have him raise
If
an
I was
eyebrow.
single and
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
threw me a little
Totally.
neg,
Yeah.
or at least it means they're paying attention, and maybe they like
Yeah.
the sweatpants. I went through a sweatpants phase, by the way. So
Oh, don't just drive through that. It means you're paying attention. That's the key. Like, it's those casual everyday, like, hi, how's it going? We're just, our robotic brain is just like going, great, that's just, this actually means something. You actually, yeah, she's paying attention. So.
well, I tell you what, it seems to be a slow night, and that's okay because I wanted to take it easy, so we could all prep and get ready for our special guest next week.
Yep. Do you
Our
want to
last
talk
Saturday
about
show.
schedule? There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I got this whole thing worked out. I'm ready to.
You do.
Next week is our last Saturday show. Summer's coming. We have weekend stuff to do. You have weekend stuff to do. Who wants to listen to a relationship talk show at 10 p.m. on a Saturday? So we are going to move after next week to Thursdays at 9 o'clock. That's 4:20 for those of you who are partaking. The 20th of April at 9 o'clock, we will start our Thursday shows. But before then, next week, we have a national, probably international. I'm sure he's been to Canada, right? Touring comedian Jeffrey Asmus. He's touring all over the U.S. right now. He has, I believe, an upcoming Storming the Capitol, D.C. set of shows. He will be in Pittsburgh next week. I don't have his full schedule. He's fantastic. I love his sense of humor. I honestly believe, and we'll have this for posterity, Jeffrey Asmus will be one of the next comedians that you see everywhere. I have no doubt about it. Feel very honored to have him on the show. He's going to answer questions about what it's like to be on the road as an up and coming comedian and dealing with fame and dealing with fans and dealing with having I believe he's been in a relationship for 2 years, and the rules and things you have to do to keep that relationship healthy, and also relationship with friends. And he has a podcast. Is it Two Idiots? Yeah.
Yes. Talking about his pod.
Yeah, talk about his podcast. He has a relationship there. So there's a lot of questions to ask about, hey, when you reach this certain level of fame, how does it change you? Or
it's You're an Idiot podcast, by the way.
You're an idiot. Thank you. Not Two Idiots.
Yeah.
They're not idiots. We're idiots, right? So yeah, I got a bunch of questions for Jeffrey. I can't wait. I'm thankful he's agreed to come here and do it live. That'll be 1 o'clock next Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. During the day, I get it. You probably have stuff to do. I'm sure we'll rebroadcast it. It'll be available on Twitch for at least a week. We'll edit. We'll have but if you want to get a question in, if you want to hear Jeffrey live, it's not going to be a bunch of stand-up jokes. It's going to be a conversation. So he's the funny one. We're not going to go in that, hey, aren't we funny too? Let me set you up for a joke. I don't think we're going to go that route, but
I just got douche chills you saying that.
how do you piss off a comedian? Try to be funny.
Oh, too funny.
Hey, looks like, man, somebody joined in on the chat.
Hey,
Perhaps.
Nerd Dad.
Hey, Nerd Dad. Hello.
Hey,
Hey,
Nerd
Nerd
Dad's
Dad.
back. Catch us right at the end there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I hate to be too distracted, but I want to say, where is he in our stream? People like online are like, what? Anyway, I'll just type it here.
Let me find a special sound effect.
We need to do a follow up show with Nerd Dad, by the way.
We do, yeah. The private investigator.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that because I want to hear some stories, and I know we have some more questions, especially considering some of the stuff that we've discussed over the past few weeks. I mean, it's we got some real fun ones.
We're absolutely having him back.
Yeah.
You're a friend of the show. We want to hear from you when you have time and when we can come fit in. Maybe we'll do something after the 420 show. See if we can do a roundup of the people we've talked to, including him. And I'd love to get talk to Space Case some more. And actually, the couple that we had call in, I'd love to talk to them some more. There's everybody we've talked to. But good, Zaz. If you have a good one, interrupt me at any time while I'm talking, and just tell me to shut
Oh
up.
yeah. I was now that now that he's our PI friend for those who aren't aware. So I'm trying to give something a little more that driven, stalking or anything along those lines. So
Anything involving cheating.
Yes, exactly.
Just search for cheating sort by new. I don't know.
I got red flags. Is he showing red flags even before we date? So,
all right, let's go with that one.
Do you think that one?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I met this guy on Facebook dating. I was going to delete my profile anyway, but before I did, he messaged me and we exchanged numbers. Then I deleted it. So we had our first date at his house. It was supposed to be dinner and a bonfire. But let me backtrack. Before we even met, he would say things like, if this works out, we need to go on vacation together. I'd laugh it off. Not the first dude I ever met say that he kept wanting to talking on the phone. He kept wanting to talking on the phone, but I hate talking on the phone because I don't know how to hang up on someone when we no longer want to talk to them. I love you. I love you. No, I love you. Is that one of those? I get it.
I think it's more of a millennial thing. Like, so blah 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 blah, and then like they get distracted and like, I really want to go play Xbox, and I don't know how to tell you goodbye, so I can go play Xbox or what, whatever it might be.
It's a waste of time. I get nothing. So because I didn't, he stopped talking to me. Then came back and invited me over, which by the way was an hour and a half away. Oh wow! I almost didn't go, but I've been told at my age of 27 I act like a prune in my 50s. I've become boring, so I took a leap of faith and just went. It was far countryside, which I absolutely love. Immediately when I entered, he was super cool, funny as hell. Nothing like through text. I guess that's why he wanted to talk on the phone. He's cute. All night he kept going on and on about how gorgeous I was. Kept asking if after this there would be a second date. I kept reassuring him, yeah, there will be. Throughout the night, he kept asking if he was doing a good job. So far, I'm going to say, fine.
He's insecure.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. This is normal. I mean, especially if you're driving, like, you're only talking via text. I mean, we're going to get to the next one. He's going to be like, and then no, never mind. I'm not going to
keep going. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for that big shoe.
Yeah, your face, such smooth skin. Have you ever thought about being a coat? And that's getting edited out. I can already see Hammer's face.
Nope. I'm leaving it because you said it.
He's very, very funny. Like, I never laughed that much because of a person in years. He was very charming. Again, this is great, but it also felt like his charming part was rehearsed. Like, this is how he acts to get women. I don't know. Like, for one, I guess he's trying to say he kept doing this eyebrow thing. Like the dude in Tangled. He kept mentioning of our future, mostly all the places he wants to take me, about his family, and he's a big family guy. He seems very excited. Like, overly excited, he did make me feel very uncomfortable, like I've been to his house before. To be honest, we did have sex. I knew we would. And, oh god, this is funny. And I was fine with it. He was very good at it, scary good, like a professional good. And he has a huge dick. This is hilarious. One thing I love, Post Malone and I told him because we were sharing favorite artists, and he went off for 3 to 5 minutes about how ugly he thinks Posty is. which
Sorry.
made him seem jealous to me. So
No. Post Malone looks like he smells like things are rotting.
I think that's why Post Malone's manager quit. One of his managers quit because he said like he smelled like spoiled milk. So
Yeah,
that's
he
the thing that
looks like he
happened.
smells that way. Like I've never met him. Maybe someday I will, and I hope he doesn't. But yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
So this
Post
is
Malone's
one
idiot.
thing I got to start getting better about when we do these. I got to start reading some of the comments. The last couple about the dating, we don't really need to read the comments, but like this one,
Wait, what's
these
the
Reddit
question? Does
comments-
she have a question? Are there any red flags that she's actually going to mention, or
I mean, outside of he hates Post Malone or whatever, he's jealous of her, and he's really good at laying, like he's really good pipe.
he's really good at fucking? He's charming. He in no way made you feel uncomfortable being at a house that he owns an hour and a half away from where you live. He wants you to meet his family, and he's so excited about you. He's even talking about how great you'd like a vacation with him. What's the
So,
red flag?
before-
He's awkward.
Uh,
I get it. He's nervous.
Yeah.
He's not a professional. I don't know.
I've absolutely had conversations with people, and I caught myself saying this. Like everybody knows me. Like if you know me long enough, I'm a doofus, clearly. But I'm way too comfortable around people.
Yeah.
That's part of me being me. Is I've literally said people like, you know how I am, and I'll say that to people who I literally met like an hour ago, and they're like, no. So that is a thing.
I remember
However,
the first time I met you, you were just giving me a massage and just reaching in my shirt and like working my pecs, and it was fine.
yeah, because I also am good at laying pipe.
That's weird, too.
Sorry. It was
I
the
think
same
we
day.
got along if you didn't love Post Malone.
So I'm gonna before we jump down this, I just want to mention this this comment. The very first
ahead.
thing I
Do it.
saw. Okay, so your impression, just to go off what you said, is none of this sounds abnormal, correct?
It sounds
This
like
all sounds
there's no red flags. How about that?
okay.
The red flag.
First-
Literally, there's a red flag. You drove an hour and a half to go to a stranger's house and then fucked him, and now you're internet asking if there's a problem. That's a red flag about the poster, perhaps. But go ahead.
Yeah. Sounds like a whack job. If you can't even make it to the first date with someone before they start acting like this, I'd bounce. Maybe he's just inexperienced when it comes to talking to women. IDK.
That's like
Come on. Come on.
I agree with Nerd Dad here. It is weird to talk about vacations on the first date, but
True.
if he doesn't have a lot of topics lined up and he just planned a vacation, it could happen. I wouldn't do it. I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't mention it for weeks until I really liked
Yeah.
this woman and thought she might be fun on vacation. But
Right. That
you know, I get that it's weird, but I don't think it's a red flag either. The guy was charming, even though he
So,
was nervous. He was charming enough
kinda-
to get her pants off.
Right. I'm going to piggyback off of Nerd Dad a little bit because this is my thing. Is there is such a thing as reading between the lines, and there are people that rehearse. We've talked about this before in past conversations. Like people put on a mask when they're on a date, right? 9 times out of 10, you're not really talking to that person.
I'm talking the best version of that person.
You're talking to the best version of themselves, right? And if her gut instinct is telling her this seems a little, kind of rehearsed, you got to take that in consideration because you've talked to people like who are just trying to BS you and just navigate like a conversation around you to, we've all had those conversations. So is it possible? Sure. Red flag? I don't know. Talking about
Yeah, I don't
vacation
know.
is
When I
a
hear
bit
the
of
word
a,
rehearse, I mean, I think that she believes he's practiced every line he uses someone, every girl that comes over, that this is a shtick more than it's.
yeah.
He knows what works, and he'll continue to go back to the well of raising the eyebrows or talking about family, whatever it might be. I think
Yeah.
he has talking points. I think he knows a few things that generally works for him. But I don't. I have this problem. People that can rehearse entire evenings of conversations and lead the whole thing are very few and far between. If he's one of them, he should be doing something else for a living.
I mean, yeah. So nothing really stuck out there, but that's the closest thing I could say is having a conversation about vacation and stuff. And if her gut is telling her this seems a little too,
Hire
I
our
keep
friend
wanting to
Nerd
say buy the
Dad
books.
follow
but,
him around and find out what he's really up to.
let's do a GoFundMe.
Yeah, it's a
A
yellow
yellow
flag, not a red
flag. Oh, that's good.
It's good.
I found my so he's a male, 23, fiance, I guess is a female, 23. They're both 23. 4 years found a
Thank
ripped condom box while cleaning her car.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What's the
Today
date
we
on
both 5 hours ago.
No, the date
Oh,
on
you
the
mean?
condom box.
Oh, look at you, man! All right,
I'm a
well
private
done.
investigator, but no, I'm not.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Don't even play. Don't even play. Today we both helped each other clean each other's cars. She was cleaning mine, which was considerably cleaner and easier. Wow, right out of the gate, not even the first sentence in, this dummy can't clean a car. Like that's what it's like, wow, dude, how about slow down, pump the brakes. She was cleaning mine, which was considerably cleaner and easier. But I wanted to do something nice and do hers, which was filled with Starbucks cups. As I was cleaning the back seats, I unfastened the mats, clicked in place, and then I saw the ripped condom box. Mind I do know of toys and etc. that she had bought for her pleasure and mine, but we never used condoms due to an unfortunate inability on her to bear a child. We've been together for quite a long time, and I don't know how to ask her about it. I don't want to accuse her of cheating or something like that because of how much it really hurts. I looked at a website to see if it really is a box of condoms or if it's a toy that she had bought not told me because the box was ripped in a way that I couldn't tell if condoms or toys were in the condoms are a toy that the brand sells. Looking at the website, the only thing matched for a box of condoms that I have never bought, and to my knowledge, her neither. What should I do? Should I talk to her about it, or should I kind of blow it off for now and see if there is anything else that leads me to assume she's cheating? Sheesh.
You're gonna talk to her about it sooner or later. Might as well make it sooner, right? Like this isn't. I decided that it's not important. You're gonna talk to her. Talk to her. Tell her what you found. But you can't make assumptions. This is a true story. I normally don't include my own life stories in this. My wife had a Ford Explorer for 6 or 7 years. Around year 4 or 5, we decided to do a big deep clean on it before. No, it was actually towards the end. We were going to get rid of it, I think. We did a big deep clean on it. We lifted the spare wheel out of the back area. And in there were 5.22 bullets, some of them in fairly poor shape. And we would never have bullets back there. They weren't hers. I didn't accuse her of, going off and shooting on weekends without me. They were there in the vehicle before we got there. The other thing is, there are other people that use vehicles often, backseat, especially somebody she could have driven around to or from work, could have dropped it, could have put it there to hide it from something they were doing that they wanted to hide and figured they'd put it there and get it later. Could have been a lot of things. Just talk about it. Say, hey, I found this. The thing is, if you think she's capable of cheating, you probably shouldn't be with her in the first place. But if you find this, it's okay to bring it up and say, hey, this is weird. Why do you have this in your car? And see how she reacts at that point. Don't make assumptions. There's a million ways it could have got there. Listen to her. And if you think she's a cheater now, dump her. And if you think she's a cheater after, definitely dump her. You have to be with someone you can trust. Talk to her as though you trust her first. Yeah. I don't know. Where do you go with that one?
Oh, I mean, you got to address the elephant in the room. And they said a 4-year relationship. I mean,
He said
that's
long
like
time. Did he say 4 years?
I believe so. Let me go back to the link
Don't worry
I
about it.
failed to
It's
give
not-
you. Yeah, no, I think it was like 4-year relationship. But yeah, 4 years. They went through some trials and tribulations. It sounds like, with childbirth and all that fun stuff. She is a fiance, so he's eventually going to put a ring on it if all plans go accordingly. So I would just, address it. Maybe the whole looking up the condom thing though. That for some reason that detail is just sticking with me.
Why would you
I don't know.
hide condoms in your car? That you
Well,
get it. Throw them away first off, and buy them as you need them. There are whole other
Yeah,
ways to handle condoms for your side piece. Besides, I'm gonna hide them in a easily.
You don't know if it
findable
was
area.
her who was handling them.
Yeah.
I'm
So I'm
sorry,
saying,
gonna
like, if she
devil's
were,
advocate,
why would
yeah.
she do that?
Because like
People have been
let's-
caught
let's-
in dumber ways.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
I should shut up at that point. Yeah.
I was, I was gonna say, man, like if you're a guy, you don't know what the condition they're in when they were trying to hook up. If they did, I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just like hypothetically going through the situation. Guy think, "Rah, let's go," and then he's like, I don't give a fuck, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Like it's not exactly he's getting a dustpan cleaning DNA. Like he's out. So,
But
or
yeah, there
she,
are
or
condom
she.
companies that sell lubes that heat up or cool down or do something special together, like nuclear fusion. I don't know. That their logo could be on a different box entirely. But again, you'd probably remember if, if you were involved with that sort of thing. So talk, just open the conversation and find out what she thinks of why it's there.
Yeah, several people are unfortunately just like, yeah, basically saying confront her and then just gauge her response. And Nerd Dad said, call a good PI.
Of
Which I
course,
was like,
if you
that is
if you
also
really think you're with
love it.
somebody that could cheat on you, again, you have to rethink the entire relationship. It's not just one piece of evidence and then you dig in and
Yeah.
one piece of evidence. If you feel like digging in, go professional with it
Oh
because
shit. So somebody actually said I wouldn't ask. Go to a private investigator mode and see if you could find any other evidence. If she's guilty, raise the issue. She'll start covering her tracks and developing a story to satisfy your uncertainty. Damn, damn. That's a very good perspective as well. I wouldn't say very good, but it is a perspective. Uh, I
if you
mean,
can't
yeah,
read your fiance's initial reaction to finding a
yep,
condom box in her backseat, yeah,
yeah,
eh, I mean, there's problems already.
yeah.
But hey, I mean, there's tools out there. You can use them if that's your thing.
Man, there's actually somebody's taking a very original perspective to it as well. They said, like, well, you mentioned toys. Does she like anal? I mean, cross contamination. That's what those could be used for. And he's like,
Oh yeah,
no,
yeah.
absolutely opposed, absolutely opposed. But it was, yeah, good
It
perspective. I
doesn't even
mean,
have to
that's
be anal. Some people prefer condoms on their toys because it makes washing them easier. Yeah,
neat.
condoms are used for more than just penis and vagina.
Called a posh wank.
Really,
Hmm.
you taught me something new.
All right, guys.
And with that, yeah, let's get out of
And-
here. We've put hour and a half plus into this,
yeah, I think this
and
is a good one.
again,
Nice chill show.
our good friend Nerd Dead there with his private investigation company who joined us on
Hope
one
you
of our
feel better,
earlier
man.
shows. We'll post the information right here somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
here,
so this is a nice juxtaposition. Sorry, I'm talking over while you're doing this. My apologies.
that's okay. It's the end of the show. We get a little chaos. Again,
Last week was
Zaz,
All
take
right.
it away. You're the producer.
No, I was just saying. I go. Last week was so great because we had a lot of callers, and we had a lot of friends of the show like reading for a podcast from their podcast and stuff, and ask us
Yeah,
questions.
I
It's nice
love
to have
that.
a polar opposite today of just like a nice breath of fresh air and recentering. So, and then we got to see an old friend, Nerd Dad, back. So yeah,
Yeah, I intentionally didn't book a lot for this evening. I didn't. I knew we had a video from Paige still to show, and I was just hoping we
yeah,
get to relax again, test the equipment, make sure things are working right. Because next week is Jeffrey Asmus. I know you just put the graphic away. Next week's Jeffrey Asmus at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and following next week's shows, we are moving to Thursday at 9 p.m. For the foreseeable future. That's what we're going to be doing. So you won't see us on Saturday nights anymore. After tonight, next Saturday is Jeffrey Asmus at 1 p.m., traveling comedian who will be answering our questions about relationships and your questions if you want to call in or if you send them
and
in before the show.
and just to be clear, that's 9 p.m. Eastern time, correct?
All times are Eastern, yes.
Narcissist,
We don't deal with other time zones.
fake time zones.
Yeah. Time zones are invented by the government to keep man down.
All right, guys, have yourselves a good
something
evening.
about farmers. Everybody, have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful Easter. I can't wait to see you all next week for our special show with Jeffrey. Keep kicking ass.
God damn it. Well, fortunately, it's like the world's worst camera. I don't know what's going on with my camera lately, but it looks like it's I got Vaseline on the lens or something. It's just anyway. Let's go back to the story.
How would that have happened?
It's okay. This is the relationship, Smith. We can answer your questions, Zaz.
I just like it how out of nowhere it's just you and I talking about this very serious story, and then I bring that up, and then you hear this voice. Don't see a face. You just hear a voice. How would that have happened? Like it's so eerie.